Welcome back to the channel, guys, with the installation of the Motone H-Bomb Exhaust. If you watched my previous video on how to do the first service first oil change on this bobber, I went over all the parts that I got for this bobber build series. From all those parts that I show you, I chose today to start with the exhaust. Now, why did I choose the Motone H-Bomb Exhaust? Well, for one, I wanted something slick. I wanted something that's blacked out to go with the blacked out theme that I'm going for. Also, I didn't want to spend $3,000 for some hyper exhaust that's out there. And the most important part was that I wanted something that has dB killers, if you see here, because I am going to use this bike as a daily, and I didn't want another crazy loud exhaust. GP22 Aprilia Reservoir, Spark exhaust with a Panigale. I mean, these bikes are so loud, I can't even ride them anywhere. So I wanted something that's tame, but also sounds really good. And then whenever I want really, really loud, I can always remove the dB killers. Now, this is a fairly easy install. It would have been much easier if the catalytic converter was not in between the frames. So for that reason, I'm going to have to remove part of the frame to remove the catalytic converter and install the new exhaust. So still easy, just a little bit tedious. Let's get to it. Okay, there isn't any particular order that you can start removing bolts. I'm just going to start from the rear and work myself up to the front. We'll have here a 12 millimeter socket you'll need for this. Loosen it up and remove it. Okay, next we'll have a 5 millimeter hex right here where the heat shield is. Unbolt that. There you go, done, and remove it by hand. Next, we're going to unscrew and loosen up these clamps underneath here. One is right here. That takes a 10 millimeter wrench over here, and the other one is right here in the front. Also a 10 millimeter wrench. To get to this, you'll have to go from underneath here. There you go with the 10 millimeter. Right there, and start loosening it. This will take a while because you have to remove, insert again, loosen up, because you have no space to wrench in here, but remove this and also remove that one right here. Okay, so it turns out that the rear pipe right there, the clamp, I have no space to wrench in that 10 millimeter. I can only wrench in the front one, so what I'll do is I'll leave that there until I remove this side frame, and when the frame drops, I'll be able to have space to wrench on that. So I'm leaving that there. We're going to continue to these two. These are 12 millimeter, and you'll notice that when you wrench, they're not very tight. Boom, loose, that's it. I'll give you the torque specs later once I install the exhaust. And here's the other one. Loose. And use an extension with your 12 millimeter socket just to make it a little easier here on the exhaust. There, remove both. Once the header nuts are removed, you can just pull this. This is technically a two-hand job, but I'll manage this way. Let's see. There you go. Just remove this. Remove that. Okay, there you go. Both out. Next, we're going to remove the O2 sensor. With a 17 millimeter wrench, I'm going to loosen this up with your left hand, unloosen this with your right hand. You have to hold the pipe because this is gonna, there you go. I made it a little looser before, so I'm able to present it. And then you're gonna loosen up by hand. Keep this loose. We have to remove all the exhaust, and then we're gonna twist the exhaust on the O2 sensor so we don't break the cable. Now you're gonna grab the exhaust, remove it from both bottom and up. There you go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to twist the exhaust on the O2 sensor here. Be careful, don't scratch your tank, and twist that way. And it's out. Now I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side to remove the entire exhaust. So the catalytic converter is free from both pipes. So I can come and release this frame so I can remove this and then the catalytic converter. All right, exhaust is removed from the other side. Let me show you real quick. All completed here. This was much easier because I was able to get to both pipes of the catalytic converter without having to drop in the frame. We'll have to do that on the other side. So this is removed, we're good to go. Start from the other side. Okay, next with a 12mm socket, we're going to remove these four. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one. That's two. They're not very tight. Just, I would say these are hand tight. Good strength, hand tight. So easy to remove. Remove all four and then remove the entire piece. Okay, this is removed, but there's only one bracket for here. This goes here. There's no bracket on the other side. There's a captive size, so there you go. Next, with a 16mm socket and an extension, we're going to remove this engine mount bolt here. And as you can see, I've used a 17mm wrench from the other side for the nut. And just so you know, it's easy for me to remove here right now, but I had to use a breaker bar for this to break it. It's pretty tight. Okay, I'll loosen up this, but I'm keeping it in place so I can remove these two. These are 8mm hex. Break them loose. There you go. Two here, and there's two right there, over here. Okay, remove these two, and then this one so we can drop the frame down. Okay, I dropped the frame a little bit. Just remember that when you remove these screws in the back, there are these captive nuts here and here, the same thing. You'll see them right here, don't forget to insert them. And then this is what goes for the engine mount, the nut from the back there. And now this is loose enough. See if you can see where we dropped it. And also don't forget, right there is a radiator mount right here. Don't forget to reinsert that on the radiator once you replace the frame again. So this is loose enough for us to remove this pipe and this clamp underneath there, 10mm clamp. And then once this exhaust is off the pipe, we're going to remove the catalytic converter. All right, now the other side of the exhaust is removed. The frame is hanging, so now we can use a 12mm socket to remove this bolt here for the catalytic converter. That's loose, and there's one more right here from the other side. Right here, also 12. Gonna have to go from the other side for this. Actually, I don't need to go from the other side. I can just do it from here and loosen it up. But you're gonna see this nut over here. See how it turns? There you go. And this is loose. Loosen this up, remove it, and then remove this one. Okay, both bolts are removed. Let's see if I can do it with one hand, because normally this is a two-hand job. Definitely a two-hand job. It's kind of tricky here to remove it. Okay. Catalytic converter is off. Wow, this is heavy. Okay, I think we're saving about 20 pounds at least with this modification. Okay, next we're going to remove the catalytic converter base. There's one bolt here, one right here, and one right there. So for these two, we can use a 12mm ratchet. But for that one over there, because the frame is still here, we don't have space, so we're gonna use a wrench. So 12mm for this, 12 for this, and for that one, a little slower, but that's the job. There you go. And remove this completely. Okay, the cat base is removed, but I reinserted the screws underneath, so they're not just exposed holes, those three. Reinserted the frame, put the bolts back in place, frame bolt, and these two there right now. Hand tighten them, and now we're going to torque them down. Okay, with the torque wrench, we're going to torque these two at 40 Newton meters. Torqued. That's torque 2. Repeat the 40 Newton meters for the bottom two. Again, now with the torque wrench at 105 Newton meters, I'm going to torque this engine mount bolt and always keep the 17mm from the other side to hold the resistance for the nut. That's it, torqued. Okay, the bike is back in its original place. I also inserted this. I don't have torque specs for these. I basically hand tightened them as much as I could, and I also removed this mounts that were here for the rear exhaust. We don't need this anymore from here and the other side. And we are ready to install the Motone exhaust. Okay, now a few things before I install the exhaust. One is that one of these screws from the frame, I'm gonna have to remove it because Motone supplies screws for this, for the exhaust to mount on it. I'll show you how to do that. And also, I'm realizing that the horn right here, while it is clearing when I install the exhaust, it just kind of touches the exhaust. Now, of course, I could just bend it a little bit and move it, but because I knew this is going to happen and I didn't want to have bent horns or anything, I wanted to relocate it inside. I got this bracket and I'm going to relocate it inside. Okay, I removed the horn and I relocated it right there with the bracket all in there, so that's perfectly clean. A tip, if you're going to use this bracket relocator for the horn, do it while you have the exhaust out. It's very tight in here and becomes very tedious to install that thing. Honestly, I think the most difficult part so far of all this was installing this bracket. It's kind of tedious. So once you do that, next, I'm going to use the provided bolt for the exhaust mount. I already removed one of the bolts right here, insert it, and then I'm gonna remove this to insert the exhaust. They provide two different sizes. The one for this bobber is the M10 by 1.5. They have a 1.25 that does not fit for me. Insert it, and of course, again, I'm going to torque it at 40 Newton meters. Remove this screw first. This is where the exhaust bracket is going to attach. I'm going to torque this first. Okay, now that these bolts are in place, I'm going to remove the old gaskets from the exhaust and replace them with new. Okay, so in reverse, I was able to insert the O2 sensor and the new exhaust, just like I removed the stock one by rotating the exhaust. Once I rotated the exhaust, I placed the header here to tighten the O2 sensor, no torque spec, just hand tight. And then here, I was able to hand tight this just to keep it in place. It's not tight yet because I want this still loose until I place this new exhaust clamps, which are blacked out. These are gonna look good. And then once I install those there underneath, I'm going to have to connect the two pipes with this. Okay, now everything's in place and I'm going to torque the header nuts at 19 Newton meters. I'm going to go slowly on one and then to another one and again to the other one. Torqued, torqued. Okay, we're technically almost ready to start the bike, but before I do, I'm going to install these DNA air filters. Okay, for the air filter, I'm going to remove the cover first. And then with a T20, that torques. I'm going to remove these two screws here and here. And the stock filter is out. Now we're going to take the DNA air filter, place it in right there, and then we're going to place this bracket above it and reinsert the same screws. All right, everything is installed, everything's checked, torque, everything, air filters, both sides, exhaust, everything is good to go for me to start it. Now, I'm curious to hear, because I still have the baffles inside, the DB keylers, which I chose to start with. I want to see how it's going to sound with it and then see if I'm going to remove them or not. So, moment of truth, let's start it. Okay, definitely sounds louder than the stock exhaust, even with the baffles in. I'm not gonna rev it yet. I'm going to let it idle for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm gonna let the ECU adjust the idle, and then I'm gonna start doing some revs. I'm gonna pause the video and return in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, the bike is idling for about 12 minutes or so. Cooling fan started on. ECU started reading the idle. I'm gonna do some blips to hear the exhaust. Okay, I think I'm going to keep the baffle on. This is crazy loud. For a daily, you definitely need the baffle on. I'm not gonna remove it right now to do some revs. I'm going to do some future videos with no baffle at some point, compare the two. But for now, let's turn this bike off. Alright guys, install is complete, and I'm so glad I chose the Motone with the baffle, because if there was no baffle, there's no way I will be able to daily commute this bike with straight pipes like that. It sounds unbelievable even with the baffle on. At some point I am curious, I want to remove it and do some revs. Unfortunately, not in this video, but in future videos for sure. You know what? No, I removed it already, both sides. I'm gonna do the video right now with no baffle. I thought the baffle was going to be very difficult to remove from past experiences from all the bikes that I had removing baffles, but this was the easiest baffle I've ever removed. So let's do some revs. All right, start up with no baffles. Wow. I don't know if you can hear it over the video, if you can tell the difference, but there's so much more bass with no baffle. The idle is not insanely loud. It's just very, very heavy sounding. It sounds amazing. Way better than it sounds with the baffle on. Alright, let's see what we can do with revs. Low revs. 2000 RPM. Two and a half. Wow, 2.5. That was 2800. Guys, that's like 2800 only. Oh my God, that was 3300. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna do a little higher. I don't want to push it too much yet. Wow, that was 5000 RPM. Guys, it's insanely loud. Okay, now I have second thoughts because this sounds so good. I'm actually tempted not to put the baffles back in. But here's the thing though, it's so easy to take in and out. So if that's the case, one time I want to be quiet, I'll just put them on and then maybe leave it as is, be loud and awesome. Okay guys, I just noticed something and I'm very disappointed. I have to add this and show you. This is what happened and I don't understand why. You can see here, it's chipped in the back here, here and here. I have to say I'm super frustrated right now because I don't understand how this is possible. Did it overheat? I don't understand. Yeah, that's not good. I don't like that. What I'll do is I'll reach out to Motone and ask them if that's covered under warranty in any way. But I did some research online and I just found out that this exhaust is not ceramic coated. It's just type of heat treated something. It's not, you know, if it's not ceramic coated, it can peel off. So I'm really disappointed because if I knew that, maybe I wouldn't have chosen this exhaust. Keeping the black look was important for me. So guys, I really don't have no words right now because, you know, seeing this in a brand new exhaust, I don't know what to say. And it seems like it's chipping. The exhaust is hot, I can't really touch it, but a little bit that I try to touch it, it seems like this is going to chip all over. Like this is going to be exposed. I'm not really sure, guys. I guess I'll give you an update. This was kind of a disappointing part. I have to sleep on it, reach out to Motone, see what they say, and take it from there. Now, I'm not going to leave the bike like this. Obviously, I'm going to install so many more parts, but with brand new air filter and full flow exhaust, guess what this bike needs? And this is a tune. Now, I have decided for a tune, I'm going to go with a BT Moto. I'm gonna make another video why I'm choosing BT Moto and why not another tune, but that's for the next video. Stay tuned because a lot of mods are coming up for this bike. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.